somehow remembering snippets of stuff that they heard, and so in drunken state they can repeat it. I mean, I don't know, but Peter, that's the one he responds to. Interestingly,
Yeah.
like so that seems to be the one that if you're kind of trying to reconstruct the scene, seems to be the one that's the most winning the day among the crowd, if you will. And so Peter responds to that. Yeah, it's pretty strange.
Well, I don't know. Did you ever see that Jackie Chan movie, Drunken Master, where he can only fight after he's had a lot to drink in the bar, and then he can fight Jackie Chan, and then when he's all right, well.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know if you want to base your exegesis of acts on a Jackie Chan movie, but go ahead. Good day to you and welcome. I'm Jeff Kloha.
And I'm Alec Fisher, and today we're talking about the appointed reading in the Revised Common Lectionary for Pentecost Sunday, and that's Acts 2, verses 1 to 21.
Right. So we're shifting, the last several weeks, of course, we've been in 1 Peter, and then touching into Ephesians, so epistle texts, rhetorical texts. Now we're in narrative. With a long quotation from, of course, Joel in the middle of it. So in some ways this will be a bit easier. It just kind of flows a bit more smoothly. You don't get some of the weird stuff. But there will be a lot of vocabulary that's unfamiliar here, partly because just the context, right? So, tongues of fire, not a very common thing that you see in the scriptures. So you have some vocabulary uniqueness. But also, Luke does this where he kind of shifts into sort of sounding like the Septuagint and sort of this archaic thing that you get going on. Now, he shifts away from that as the book of Acts proceeds, and especially when you get to, Antioch and going out to the Gentiles. But Luke has this ability to sort of sound like the Septuagint, and we see some of that here, and of course in the direct citation. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward grammatically for the most part, but a lot of imperfects again because it's a narrative and it's describing the scene, trying to convey what's going on, and then the vocabulary, that is just unique for a couple of reasons there.
Verse 1. Kai in ta sum pleurusthai tain hemeron tes pentekostes esan pantes homu epi ta auta. Okay, so we've got this kai in to, and in to operates kind of adverbially here. You could say, in it, or just kind of when, right? And then it pushes
at the time of.
At the time of, and that also then plays off the infinitive there, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got this present passive infinitive. It's like to be filled with, right? I mean, if you were to break up the word. Or you just, at the time when fulfilled, and the day of Pentecost was, right?
Yeah.
Or the time when fulfilled, the day of Pentecost, and then you've got your plural form of eimi, were Pontus, homu, so all were together, and then epi ta auta, like at the same, which you could supply probably at the same place. Right?
Yeah, this same exact phrase you see in 1 Corinthians, where chapter 11, when they gather at the same place to celebrate the Kyriakon Deipnon.
Yeah.
It occurs several times in Paul. Although oddly, it's often not translated in Paul.
Interesting.
In ESV, they just don't translate it.
Right.
But here they do say what the ESV says, something like in one place. I mean, that's the sense of what you're getting, but
right.
Literally at the same place is what's going on here.
Yep.
Yeah. And then hamu, nice word. Okay. Good. Yeah. See, like I said, pretty easy. So let's let's go. All right, verse 2.
Okay.
Kai geneta aphno ek tu uranu hekos hosper pheromenes pnoes biaias kai eplerosen halon ton oikon hu esan kathemena. So I told you vocabulary that's unfamiliar, so sorry for stumbling over some of these, but we do have some hapax and unique words here. So anyway, kai geneta, and it happened. It's the King James will probably say something like "it came to pass."
Right.
And again, it gives you that Septuagint-like flavor, right? Where kind of the Septuagint is ending here, the Old Testament is ending, and now the New Testament, or at least the fulfillment of Christ, and then into the early church here. But you do have that Old Testament flavor here, Septuagint flavor. Okay. But anyway, and it came to pass, or and it happened. And then aphno is an interesting word. Suddenly, used only in Acts. So adverb here. In Mark, of course, you would have, blanking on the word. Oithus, right? Oithus,
Yes.
oithus,
Over and over.
But,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But here, I think 40 times in Mark. But Acts, you get aphno. And so we have aphno here. So suddenly it happened. And then iktu urnu, from the heaven. Typically, I'd almost rather translate this from the sky.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Sky as a circumlocution for talking about the place where God dwells, I suppose. And then, akos, sound. You see, it sort of looks like akuo there. It's probably related, although not in spelling. And again, unique to this passage, so a hapax word. And maybe Luke is trying to convey a very different kind of sound than we've had in the past. But a sound, and then hosper, the comparison, as or like. And then this description. So what is the akos like? Pherumenes, so a present middle participle, a moving, rushing, and then some, again, unique words. Pnoes, wind, and then biais, violent, forcible, strong.
Yeah.
So a moving, strong wind. I think the translations say something like a rushing wind. And what did it do? So eplerosen, it filled the whole dwelling house, whatever word you want to use there for oikon.
Sure.
And then the relative clause here, who, relative pronoun, indicating place where were, ason, the imperfect, where typically were, they were typically sitting or staying.
Right.
So the imperfect with the participle there to give the durative idea, the imperfect of I, me. So, so it filled the entire residence where they were literally sitting, but staying would be probably what's better here
right.
for kathemai.
And that's one of those kind of paraphrastics too, isn't it?
Paraphrastics, exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
A roundabout way of speaking.
Yeah. And notice Luke doesn't give us the subject here. It's got to go back to the disciples in chapter 1.
Right.
But you got to fill that in from the previous context. So grammatically, he doesn't give it to us.
Right. Well, yeah. Grammatically, though, wouldn't it be Pontus?
Oh yeah, fair enough. But actually the referent.
The actual referent. Yeah, we don't know who but at least we do have a nominative plural that's there.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Good.
Okay. All right. And yeah, we've got some really, if not difficult words, if not only difficult words, also some difficult forms of words in this passage, just to pronounce, right?
Just to pronounce.
All right, verse 3. Kai ophtheson autois diamerid somenai glossai hose puros kai ekathisen hena ekastan auton. All right. So again, it's a lot of kind of aspirate consonants there, and there is this appeared, right? So this is like orao, but with all the bells and whistles on it, right? So
Yeah, that's good. All the bells and whistles.
it's an orao with the aorist passive. I think of like an aorist passive. That sixth principal part is like an armored car or something. You just keep adding all kinds of things to it. I suppose you could say that for like the perfects as well, the fourth and fifth principal parts too. So, and
that one you just kind of have to memorize the principal parts.
You do, yeah. So, all right. So it is orao, aorist passive, third plural. So, and like appeared to them, autois, and then you get this middle or passive participle, diameritzo, right? Mm-hmm. So this is from diameritzo, and you've got your men, infix. So to be divided, and then appeared to them, divided, glossai, tongues, osai, like fire, or as if. That's actually kind of a neat little word here. That's right. As if fire. Then you kai akathisen. So this is from kathitso, and aorist. They rested. They rested upon eif hena. This is kind of a neat. Eif hena. So upon one, each of them, and we would just say upon each one of them.
Yeah. And, it might be worth pointing out the akathisen is a singular.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I kind of missed that in my own mind, too.
And, well, I guess it is a feminine, so it is a little strange. I was going to say singular with the plural neuter, but those are feminines, the clausi. I guess puros is in the neuter.
Yeah, poros
so
is
that's what it picks up.
That's a
fire.
Yeah, genitive neuter.
Yeah.
Well, but it's interesting. Yeah, as fire. That's the simile.
Yeah, it's a simile, but it seems to pick that up in the next clause then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
I bet there's probably a variant there to make it plural.
There is a variant. You mean an ekathisen?
Yeah. Ekathisen, yeah. Let's check the Nestle here.
Well, you can see it.
Yep, sure enough.
Make it plural.
Sinaiticus, Codex Batesai, the Syriac makes it plural. It's just swapping out an alpha for instead of the epsilon at the end there.
Right.
Yeah, so it's easy enough to do.
Yeah.
Phonologically.
Right. Right. Yep. Well, yeah, and that epsilon stands out, doesn't it?
Right.
In the aorist connecting vowels, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, lots of epsilons.
Well, no.
Kai Akathisen, F, Henna,
Yeah.
Hekastin,
Right.
Ton, lots of similar sounds strung together there.
Right.
Good. So verse 4.
Yep.
Kai eples thesan, let me do the right accent, eples thesan, Pontus, Pentecost Hagiu, let's just do that. And all were filled, so plerao in the aorist passive here. They were all filled, and then the genitive, pneumtos hagiu, genitive of content, so filled with the Holy Spirit. Oh, I was going to point this out earlier. I forgot to do this. You had bias earlier.
Yeah.
Right? Unusual word. No, it's forcible. It's pnoes. Yeah, pneus for wind. And I think Luke might have used that word because pneuma would be a good word for wind, but you've got pneuma as the Holy Spirit in verse 4. So I think that might be why Luke earlier used a different word and a rare word, so there's no confusion.
Well,
but anyway.
Well, yeah, no, I think this is an issue even going back. I'm going to look in the Septuagint. I assume that in Genesis 1:1, the Septuagint uses pneuma.
Yeah,
or not one.
Uses pneuma.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, I guess in Genesis 1:2.
Over the waters.
Yeah. But ruach,
Yeah.
means wind just as well. So he's trying to, and I even like your comment on the word tu, oiranu, right, as the sky, right?
Sky,
So instead of having this heaven spirit, you get
Right.
this sky wind, which is kind of the point, is bringing it together. And for an ancient Hebrew, you don't have to bring those things together; they already are. Right.
They
so,
already
but
are, right.
but for Greeks, you've got to find a way to bring those concepts together a little bit better.
Yeah. Good. All right. So they were all, going back to the Pontus of verse 1, all filled with the Holy Spirit. And then, pretty straightforward here. They began, erxanta, the aorist, they began to speak, present infinitive from laleo. They began to speak. And then probably an instrumental here, heterais glossis, with different tongues.
Right.
Glossa, different even languages, maybe is a better way to say that here. And then again, how do you describe this? So kathos ta pneuma edidu, apoth thengesthai, autois. Okay. Just as the Spirit, obviously going back to the Holy Spirit, previous clause, just as the Spirit. And then edidu, very nice, imperfect from didomi.
Mm-hmm.
And so you probably got the idea of a durative, kept giving. Probably what's going on here, like it's a ongoing thing, not just a one-off, is the idea here. I would say, and then was giving to them. So the indirect object, the recipient of the action of the verb, Holy Spirit was giving to them. And then this infinitive, again, boy, we got a funky word here. Apothengomai is the verb, which shock me is unique to Acts here in the New Testament. You got a few examples. Oh, no, you do have another in Acts 26, sorry. But you do have a couple of examples in the Septuagint. And here, given to, I love the BDAG. The BDAG has a great way of expressing. So BDAG, the Standard Greek Lexicon, I've pulled that out a few times, gives the definition as to express oneself orally with a focus on the sound rather than the content.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
It's a great definition. And then in English, they declared, they spoke out, something like that. But
utter.
I love it. Yeah, they uttered, right?
Yeah.
So the content is not the key here. That'll get filled in by Peter later on. What's key here is the oral speaking out that was given to them, kept on being given to them by the Spirit. And it's tough to know what exactly is going on here. Does each individual disciple hear or speak in one language, and then they got kind of a disciple for each
right.
language, or is there like a Google Translate going on and everybody hears it automatically? Here it seems to be each apostle, each disciple, whatever word you want to use, gets a different tongue, is what's going on, at least in verse 4.
Well, yeah, I see, and I kind of like that, and I like the way that it's used, and I know that when we think of language in tongue, like it's clearly we're speaking other earthly languages, right? It's like an undoing of the Tower of Babel kind of a thing, right? They're speaking earthly languages, and so when you say the word tongue, it kind of elicits this idea of some kind of charismatic speaking in some
Right.
heavenly angelic language. And so you really, when you translate this, you lose something one way or the other, right? If you say tongue, you lose the earthly nature of the languages that they're speaking
Right.
here.
Right.
But if
Yeah.
you say language, then you lose the connection with the tongues of fire over their heads.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And that's an important
Yeah.
balance to keep.
Yeah, yeah.
in
In
mind.
English, we don't have a word that works both ways. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, tongue does, but again, it could be misunderstood as some kind of ecstatic tongue of some kind.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the reason I say that now is because it's almost like each one has a tongue of fire, and I wonder if here's the here's the Greek
here's
tongue or the Latin tongue
Yeah,
or the
Latin tongue, yeah. Well,
I don't know.
Well, and to be fair, in the early church, that was the standard interpretation.
Yeah, right,
Even in
right.
1 Corinthians 14,
Yeah.
where it's speaking in tongues, every commentator in the early church takes that as the ability to speak a foreign language,
Right.
not ecstatic speech. In fact, in your favorite manuscript, Alex, Codex Spinerianus, in 1 Corinthians 14, where it says, to some is given to speak in tongues, or no, it's chapter 12, isn't it? The name Giso is written in the margin because he was a monk in the 9th century who was known to be gifted in foreign languages.
Oh, sure. Okay, there you go.
So his
Yeah.
name is actually, here's a guy who has
Yeah.
this gift.
Yeah.
And they're not taking it, again, as ecstatic speech,
Right.
but the ability to speak in a foreign language, which I think makes sense.
And it makes Paul's statement in 1 Corinthians 13 even more profound. If I were to speak in the
Exactly.
tongues of men and of angels,
Angels,
right?
right.
It's like that would be he's only speaking hyperbolically, right? So,
Exactly, yeah.
Which you lose.
Now, the
that.
other interesting note, if you take this as each disciple, whatever word you want to use, gets a tongue, when you get down to the list of places everybody's from, you got more places than 12.
Yeah,
So
right.
Maybe there's some overlap with Greek or something, but it's pretty clear it's their birth language.
Yeah.
So even though they can understand, Hellenistic Greek, that's not what's happening here.
Right.
Excuse me, sorry. Multiple native languages, the language of their birth, literally, Luke says later on. So you got more than 12 native languages
Right.
in the list.
Right.
So, and again, the thing we're trying to get around here is, or get to is, where was it just the 12 who received the tongues, or was it more?
Right.
And boy, it seems like it's more than just the 12.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah.
so-
I'll push back a little bit against that, just for fun. The specificity of some of them, the parts of Libya that belong to Cyrene,
yeah.
right? So not the rest of Libya, right? The parts that belong to
Yeah, but I
Cyrene.
think that's a way to say, look, this people group has this tongue.
Right.
So not everybody in that country, but this people group. is the
Right,
point.
right. Well,
Yeah.
and then also, you get this reference to Mesopotamia, which isn't the same as
Right.
what we think of
Yes.
as Mesopotamia, but it is still some kind of general.
Yeah.
It's a little more general than some of these. So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting description, and you kind of get the sense Luke is intentionally, hard words, right? It's a unique scenario, a one-off even,
Right.
and so he's using the vocabulary to kind of reinforce that.
Yeah, he does that. That's right. He's skilled enough to do something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
clearly. A little help from the Holy Spirit, I suppose. But
Yeah. Okay.
all right,
Verse 5?
So 5, you're on 5, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. A Sunday in Jerusalem, kat oi kuntas, Judaioi, Andres oi labais, apo pontos, ethnus ton hupo ton uranon. And again, you get this this singular, and I wonder, I don't know, at the very end, hupo ton uranon, of heaven or sky, or so again, we are continuing with our emi, our to be verb. Okay.
Yep.
And they were in Jerusalem, living. I mean, you kata and oik
Yeah.
here together.
Inhabitants is often how it's translated.
Inhabitants. They were, so, and it is a participle though, right, of katoikeo, right? So it's
Right.
and they were inhabiting, but those who inhabit are inhabitants, right? And so
Yeah.
they were
Living, inhabiting
living
Jerusalem,
in Jerusalem, Jews. Okay, and and I think Judaioi is put to the back like that, almost for this this emphasis here.
Yeah.
And then these are men, and then oilabais, another nominative masculine plural, devout.
Yeah,
Right.
another rare word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like oi plus a form of lambano or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
From
So
every nation. And this is where I think, I think this is where I think the dwelling is probably better than inhabitants, because they're not from there, right? So
Right.
they happen to
right,
be
right.
there for the pilgrimage festival.
Yeah.
And, I mean, this is the contextual nature sometimes of these participles.
Yeah. So
from-
staying in Jerusalem maybe is all you want to do with that?
Yeah, staying in Jerusalem. Yeah, staying is probably the best, right?
They had reservations in Jerusalem.
They did, yeah. And who knows how long have they been staying there, for 50 days? Or however
Yeah.
long it took them to
Right.
prepare for the Passover, and then
Right.
you've got 5 pilgrimage festivals that
Right.
it's a lot of going back and forth to Jerusalem.
Yeah. Cheaper plane ticket too if you spread it out longer. So
Yeah, right. Well, and the temple's doing great from all this stuff, right? A lot of
exactly. Yeah.
they're doing fine. So apo, pontos, ethnus. So from every nation, or it's a genitive, the genitive singular construction, but it's kind of this, I don't know, tone, hupo ton oranon, and
Yeah.
why the switch to the plural here? It almost,
Yeah.
it looks like it's taking this this prepositional phrase, and looks like it's making it attributive to pontos, ethnus.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, maybe pontos ethnus being understood collectively, and then you shift to the
Probably.
plural.
Yeah, so it's like, then of the ones under heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, ethnus, it looks a lot like, of course, our ethnic. That's where the English word comes
Right,
from. But you got to
right.
be careful not to bring our English, or even worse, American
Right. Even
definition
worse.
into the Greek.
Yeah.
And, BDAC has a good definition here. It gives, let me pull this up here. It says, where does this say? Wrote it down. Oh, yeah. A body of persons united by kinship, culture, and common traditions.
Yeah.
So people group is probably a better understanding of this. So it's partly language, partly cultural identity. Spanish in Spain and Spanish, in Mexico are different things, right? So kind of the distinction among ethnus.
And I think it's also this word is also very contextual, because you can talk, sometimes you can translate it as Gentiles, or sometimes it's translated as Greeks, which I don't like that.
No, it's not Greeks. Yeah.
Yeah,
but here it can't be Gentiles because they're Judaic.
I'm talking generally.
Oh,
the
generally,
ethnus,
yeah.
right? So the word itself generally can be translated in different ways contextually. Right?
Contextually,
So
there
it can
you
be translated, again, Gentiles. Sometimes people translate it as Greeks, different depending on the context. Here you might almost just translate it as language groups. If you want to get hyper contextual, right? But it's a general
groups, common cultures,
people group. Yeah.
Right. I mean, do want to keep in mind, clearly they're Judaioi. So
Yes,
this will fit
yes.
with the kind of narrative of Acts, as eventually they go out to the Gentiles, but it's not the first thing they do. And the Samaritans, they get to the Samaria first. But
Right.
But it's following the narrative from 1:8. My witnesses in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, ends of the earth.
Yeah.
So here we're still in Jerusalem, obviously.
Yep. Okay.
And good. Yeah, and here, Uranon, we talked about sky earlier, and I almost wonder if that's not what Luke is doing here. Under heaven, broadly speaking, but
Right.
heaven in the sense of under the sun might be an English equivalent.
Yeah.
Right?
I think
Elevation under the sun.
I think the other, I guess the other place, again, I think, if this is like an undoing of Babel or something, right? So
Yeah,
they're all going to
right.
go back home
yeah.
after the pilgrimage
Yeah.
festival.
Right,
And so they're going to disperse with the gospel, right?
Yeah, of course.
And so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do kind of get this. I think Genesis kind of does paint this picture of having God looking,
Right.
like God looking down from heaven, which is kind of a, we talk about it differently today, and
Yeah,
you see a
right.
different picture in the New Testament, even not different, maybe more nuanced or something. So I could probably go either way on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So verse 6. And we start off with a nice genitive absolute here. Genomenes, de tes phadest, hau tes, syneltha, ta plethos, kai, synekuthe. Let's just start there. So you have the predicate participle, the genitive, the noun in the genitive. When the sound was happening,
Right.
I guess,
Yeah. That's
is kind of the long way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the best way to do it. I guess when this sound was happening, or when this voice, but here sound I think for phones. Yeah. So
Yep.
anyway, when this sound was happening, Synelthen, right, came together from Synerchomai, so the aorist. The multitude came together, and here's another Luke throwing a tough word at us that doesn't occur. It occurs a few times in Acts, but that's it. So another Lucan unique word here, even Acts unique word.
Yep.
And Bedag gives us here to cause dismay, to confuse, to confound, stirred up, right? So the aorist passive here. So the multitude was stirred up, confused, dismayed. Probably confused is the best thing here. So again, the voice is doing the dismaying, right, in a sense, or the whole scene, but it's the sound that's the problem.
Right.
And then the hati here is explanatory. Because, and here again, let's keep the imperfect from akuo.
Yep.
Oh, let me read it in Greek. Kai ekun, is that a heis? It's very tiny on my screen.
Heis. Yep.
Yeah, heis, yeah.
Yep.
I thought so. Heis hekastos te idia dialectu lalunton aton. Because each one of them, so heisakasos, each one, kept on hearing, imperfect ekun, and then here the, I guess, dative of means, in their own dialect, and then lalunton, they're speaking, meaning the speaking of the disciples.
Right.
So this again helps clarify what we had in verse 4, that they're hearing in their own tongues and not in some kind of unique language of some kind, not a Holy Spirit language.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're hearing in their own languages, not in Greek, I think would be the point here that Luke is making. It's not just Hellenism going on, or even Hebrew or Aramaic. It's not a Jewish-specific language, but their own native language,
Yeah.
which interestingly is not Hebrew, apparently. I never quite thought of that, but
Well, yeah. Right.
because it's diaspora. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing,
And
even seeing in the New Testament how the quotations you see from the Septuagint and not from the Hebrew.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So
Right.
you wonder how operative they even were in Hebrew. A lot of
Yeah.
these people, right, that are coming from all these different places, and I do want to point out one thing. So you is actually really a neat verb, sun ekuthe, right?
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah,
pointed.
yeah.
I mean, even just seeing what can be held together in a Greek verb, right? So
Oh,
it's,
yeah,
I mean, so in this form, it looks fine, right? It's obviously a compound. It's got soon, but but then the base is kind of keo. Let me find a. And so when you do, so you get keo, but when you
Right.
put soon next to it, you get it
Oh, yeah.
can't operate that way, right?
Can't
Because
work.
what
Yeah,
Greek
can't be
does, so,
sun kao. Right.
right?
Yeah.
So it's got to have a gamma, right?
Yeah.
And so this is kind of I don't know, kind of a really interesting word. And then you add the augment,
Yeah. Right.
and then you get your new again. So I don't know. It's just a very interesting word,
Yeah.
morphologically. So
There's rules to get there. It's easier just to memorize or look it up. Right.
yeah, that's right, right. But it is, sometimes you do have to back engineer
Back engineer it. Right.
words.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Good.
all right,
I was going to make one other note here. Oh, I know we're kind of getting into preaching rather than Greek here, and we could make this point later on too. But this moment, if you will, was the beginning of, I would even say, Bible translation. Right, the need to have the Word of God and the message about Christ in your own language.
yeah,
And the very first moment of the giving of the Holy Spirit was not you learn a secret language,
right,
but I'm going to accommodate myself to you.
yeah,
And the I know people get all up in arms about 1 Corinthians 9, but this is essentially what Paul does in I became all things to all people.
yeah,
The Holy Spirit himself is the one who led the charge on that, to become all things to all people, and to bring the gospel in a way that is receivable in their native culture.
right,
Yeah. So we'll
Yeah.
just kind of drop that and go on. But it's a good thing that happened. Otherwise, we'd all have to be speaking, Greek or Hebrew or something.
right, yeah, yeah, I know, right, yeah, yeah. It's like it's a first act too.
Yeah,
It's kind
exactly.
of
The
it's a
first thing
big
he
deal.
does.
It's the first thing he does. Yeah,
And, and again, I hate to get homiletical, but it parallels the incarnation, right? The Word became flesh, dwelt among us, right? It's just the way God works. He comes into our space and time on terms that are receivable,
right.
and you might even say rejectable because it looks completely normal.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Too
true.
normal. Too normal, not supernatural.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Or so unnormal that you think they're all drunk or something, right?
Yeah, well, that, yeah.
The other well, and I also think it shows you bigger picture of what God is doing through Jesus within humanity is the uniting. If the Tower of Babel is the kind of the end of the downward spiral. This is life today, right?
Right.
It's the Babylonians that take them into exiles. That's like it's the archetype of what's opposite of the kingdom of God, right? And it's like, all right, now we're just going to undo it all. Humanity gets the Spirit of God back, right? And a part of that is actually being united together, and becoming one through Jesus. So, all right, well, let's keep doing Greek, I guess. More imperfects.
Yeah.
I like this. This is a funny word. We're going to start with. It's a form of existemi. So in verse 7, existanto de kai almatsan legontes. Maybe we'll just take it part by part. I kind of like how you've been doing that. I think I want to start doing that too. Just one section by section here. So that first part of verse 7, again, existemi, to be amazed. So they were being amazed, right? A passive, maybe intransitive or something. Just they are being amazed, and also marveling. That's kind of how we take that. I don't think there's a.
That's the Billy Crystal. Yeah, you look marvelous.
Okay. So yeah, they're amazed and marveling,
Yeah. And maybe
saying,
stop there quick. It's a little exegetical note, but these are the verbs that we find in Luke 24 when the disciples don't understand the resurrection.
yeah, okay, right.
So this is not like, oh, this is really cool, let's marvel
Yeah.
or something. It's they are shocked and don't get it.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
God is doing something new and amazing, and it's not comprehensible to flesh and blood, to put it that way.
Right.
And so Peter has to fill it in with the sermon.
Yeah, and I think also the parallel to the resurrection is it's kind of a cosmos changing event.
Cosmos changing event. Yeah, exactly.
Right? There's a
Yeah.
few of these: creation of the worlds, maybe the fall into sin, the coming of Jesus, right? The incarnation, the death, the resurrection, the coming of the Spirit, the ascension. Or I guess got those backwards: ascension, the coming of the Spirit, and the new creation or something. This is a major cosmological event here. So yeah, wow, yeah, okay, I hadn't made that connection. All right, uk idu pontis hautoi eisen hoi laluntes Galilei or Galilei. Sorry, so all right, so they were saying legontes, idu. I mean, behold. Right, I mean that's kind of our look, right? Or what's going on here? And then we get a question which is marked by our semicolon there at the end,
Starts with the
right? Uk. Are these not all? These sorry, we actually get verbs here. We actually get to be verbs in this section, so it's kind of it's almost too convenient. So, are these not all the ones speaking Galileans?
Yeah.
And I think this is interesting because I suppose it's not in Luke where Peter's betrayed by his accent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it?
Well, and that's where is that? Not sure if it's Luke.
I don't think
you
it
got the
is.
same. Can anything good come from Nazareth?
Right. So that's John.
No idea.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting here. I mean, so they're speaking these other languages, but are they doing it in a Galilean accent that portrays them as Galileans?
Or do they look? Are they dressed like?
Or they dressed like Galileans? Yeah.
From Saskatchewan. I don't.
Yeah, right.
Get hate mail or
Careful now.
something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's something about them, and I think it's just funny because again, Peter is betrayed by his accent, and so are they. They're speaking these languages, but they.
Yeah.
So, because otherwise,
or do they just know who they are?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Are they that famous at this point that they know who they are? Right. So.
Yeah,
right.
Or so closely identified as followers of Jesus that Galilei here becomes synonymous with that. I mean, I think there's some of that in the early church, actually.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Anyway.
Yep.
But anyway, the point is they shouldn't have this ability, and it's probably a little bit of a slam, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Aren't these speaking Hicks or something like that?
Yeah. Right. Well, I think, and you brought up in John, and it's funny in John he actually gets back. Jesus responds. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, as I love that. I take that. An Israelite. And who's this?
Right.
Yeah, that's right. And it's kind of like, and I think that's a slam from Jesus, saying, just because he calls him an Israelite. He could have called him anything else, but he calls him kind of that goes back to the heel grabber kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, all right.
Yeah. All right.
8.
So verse 8. Yeah. My screen's blurring up, but I'll try to make it through it. Kai
Okay.
hos humais akuamin hekastos te iria dialecto human en he egenethemin. So really pretty straightforward here. And how? So the kai here is it's the answer to the question. So kai here is maybe inferential or something like that. So how, right? Aren't these speaking Galileans?
Right.
So how are we, hemais, the plural, we ekumen hearing, and I'd keep that as a durative idea. How are we continuing to hear each? They don't supply the hemon here, but each of us is the idea. Each dative of means in te idia dialecto, in his own dialect, in his own language, or in our own language. Sorry, our own language.
Right.
Each in our own language. And then this nice prepositional phrase here, in which, the he is a relative pronoun, in which we were born. And I love that, the specificity of that. Like it's their mother tongue, literally,
Right.
to kind of use that phrase. And so it's quite clearly not Hellenistic Greek or Latin or obviously Hebrew, right? It's the tongue we were born into,
Right.
not the one we use for work or for worship, which is very interesting, right? They're not using Hebrew here. They're using the language of their mother, to put it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So how are we hearing it in this language that these guys should not know because they're not from our areas? They're Hicks from Galilee.
right. Yeah. Right. Well, I will have to say, in my humble opinion of the superiority of the Latin language,
Yeah,
Latin
yeah.
does get included in the list. Thank you very much.
It does.
Yeah.
It does,
So
yeah. Fair enough, yeah.
they're just.
So that Kai, again, going back to that, I guess it could be actually two questions. Like different people are asking, are they Galileans? And others are asking, how are we hearing in our own tongue?
Well, I think that's
But
where the
again,
editors go, right?
Yeah. I guess they do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could also take it as a statement.
Right.
So how are we
Right.
hearing in our own language? I guess that's how I took it without paying attention to the
Well,
punctuation.
looking at the
Nestle makes it a question as well.
Yeah, Nestle does make it a question as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's fine. Either
Yep.
way. You could take it either way.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
The list should not be hard, and if you want to, and here's where if you're, if you have lay readers for Pentecost, this is where you want to give them some prep, or just for the sake of mercy, you might want to do it yourself.
Yeah.
I would string of lists.
I was going to make a different comment along the same lines of I have people that come to me and say, "Oh no, I've got one of those Old Testament passages with all the names," and it's like, "All right,
Yeah.
well, I'm about to do one." So,
Yeah. Yeah.
should I just go?
Yeah. Take the whole thing, and then we could kind of reflect on it.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we'll take it.
Do 9 and 10 together,
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was kind of.
and we can talk about where they're from. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. So 9. Parthoi kai medoi kai elimitai kai hoi katoikuntes, the same word again, tain Mesopotamian, Judaion te kai Cappadocian, Ponton kai tain Asian, Phrygion te kai Pamphylion, Aigupton kai te Mere tes Libues tes kata Kurenain, kai hoi epi demuntes Rom oi. Okay, should I just keep going for the left?
I'll pick up 11, but we can talk about this a little bit.
Okay, yeah, all right, that's fine.
And I don't know if we need to translate it. I mean, it's all there in Greek.
Well, all right, all right.
But yeah,
It's all there in Greek. So
just transliterate it. I mean,
yeah.
The only grammatical thing is the regions of Libya,
That's right.
which are Katakurenain. So how do you take that?
Yeah. Well, all right. All right. So Parthians and Medes, right, and Elamites. Okay, and this is interesting. This is the same word that was used
Same
up
word,
before.
yeah.
Inhabitants here, though, those inhabitants of Mesopotamia, right?
Yeah.
Of Mesopotamia, those inhabiting. That's the better way to do it because it's an
Right,
accusative.
those inhabiting.
Inhabiting Mesopotamia, those inhabiting Judea, and those inhabiting Cappadocia. See, there we'll get a little. We'll get something out of this here.
Okay.
Accusatives, right? Okay. Pontus in Asia. So again, we got these are those inhabiting all these places. They're all accusatives. Oops. I meant to do that a different way here. Sorry. Okay. And Asia. And then again, Phrygion, right? Phrygia. Okay, another accusative, and also Pamphylia. Right, Egypt, Aigupton, and okay, and all right. So this is in Ta Mera, Tes Libue. So the area, the section Ta Mera or Ta Mere, the parts. It's I think a neuter plural, which is fine, which is also then, because it's neuter, we say that's also accusative, right? So ta is also accusative. So the parts of Libya, which and then of Libya, genitive, and then we have in the attributive position this prepositional phrase, right? Kata kurenain, and it's toward Cyrene, but it's belonging to Cyrene, which is how it's usually translated. And so he said Latin. So now we get a whole different description here, and the so we've got to be special, and the Romans is accusative plural, epidemuntes, participle epidemeo, like to visit, the visiting Romans.
Yeah,
Right.
visiting Romans.
The visiting Romans, they're
Because
guests of
nobody would
honor
come
here.
to Rome and stay in Jerusalem. You'd always go back.
Yeah, right. That's right. So, all right. Anything else on that one?
Well, it's worth pointing out that, and I love the first three. You got the Parthoi, Medoi, Elamaitai in green up there. Keep in mind, these are outside the borders of the Roman Empire. So and I do the same thing, right? We talk about the Roman context, the Greco-Roman context of the New Testament, and certainly that's where the New Testament stays, including Paul's letters. But we're outside the borders of Rome at the beginning. And this is referencing the exiles, if you will, who didn't come back. We have this, the Babylonian Talmud comes out of that tradition. So there's Jews and outside of the Roman Empire, and they get to hear the gospel, which is pretty cool. In fact, Parthoi, I love this. They are like the enemies of Rome at this point. So they're on the eastern border of Rome. And the major challenge, which is why they had direct imperial control, Pontius Pilate being appointed by the emperor,
right?
Because it's a strategically sensitive location,
right?
So I don't think we can gloss over this enough, that you have nations that are enemies to each other, but are hearing the same gospel. Yeah, it's worth highlighting it. And then it just goes around, right? From here you get to Asia Minor. So the Cappadocia, Pontus, Asia, Phrygia, Pamphylia, so we're in Asia Minor at that point.
Right.
But then you go to Africa, Egypt, the parts of Libya, and then we go up to the far west, Rome. And, of course, that's where the book of Acts ends up. And then we'll get the islands in verse 11. And even Arabia, in verse 11.
Yeah.
So he's kind of, all around kind of the edges of the empire, if you will, all around the Mediterranean, and then even the islands in the Mediterranean.
Right.
So it's, all the known world, and including those beyond the borders, if you will. It's a pretty cool emphasis here.
Well, yeah, and again, my push always is the reversal of Babel, right?
Yeah,
and so that's what you've got here. They're tied more in an everlasting kingdom now, or they will be, even over and above their temporal kingdoms.
Right. Yeah. So we never hear again about in the New Testament Parthians or Medes or Elamites or Mesopotamia, but if you start reading the apocryphal Acts of the Apostles, that's where those stories get filled in.
Right.
So
sure.
Philip, these kinds of things, that's where those stories get filled in.
Yeah.
Anyway, good. Lots of fun stuff. Verse 11. Eudaioi tech. And we should just say briefly, tech kai. We didn't translate that as anything different than and. and I think that's right. Te, te kai could be a correlative. Te blah 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 kai blah blah blah.
Oh,
But
sure.
here te kai is just kind of and probably just used in the last element. So you see kai hoi karikun stamian.
So could it be and even if it's the last element?
I think he's kind of doing. I think it's just kind of the last in a series. I think it's just. I don't think there's any special.
Well, the reason I say
translation
that
thing here.
is because we've only been talking about Jews up to this point. And then he moves to proselytes and
Well, yeah, and this again is that point about ethne being culture groups,
Right.
And language, all those kinds of things.
yeah.
But I don't know. I don't because then you'd have to do something with Udaion Tekai Cappadocia. Yeah, I don't think Jews even Cappadocians. I don't think that makes sense.
Well, I was thinking Jews, even proselytes.
Yeah, but
but-
it doesn't work in verse 9.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
to make that-
Yeah,
to make
right,
that
because it's right
distinction,
there.
yeah.
Yep.
So I just kind of keep
Yep.
it as and.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so Judea Tekai proselytai, so Jews and proselytes, so people born Jewish and people converted to Judaism. And then it just keeps going around, locations. So Cretus Kai Arabus, so Cretans and Arabs, so people on the island of Crete and people on the Arabian Peninsula, which I don't know how they get connected because one's a beautiful place with lots of nice food and one is a desert, but whatever.
That's the point.
Yeah, but they're all hearing the good news. Anyway, Akuamin lalunton auton. My screen is blurring, so let me
Yep.
read this off the text. Okay, get back to Acts 2.
That's a problem with my stuff,
Yeah.
probably, frankly.
So,
Right.
Cretus Kai Arabus, Akuamin lalunton auton, tais emerais, glossais, ta megalaya, tu theou. So, yeah, great phrase. Akuamin, very nice, easy, present active indicative. We are hearing, I think I'd like to keep that as a durative. We keep hearing,
Okay.
laluntonaton, they're speaking.
Yep.
So the genitives are the content of what is being heard. And then how are they hearing it? That's a dative, instrumental, tais emeterais glossais. We hear, wait a minute. We hear the great things of God in our own languages. Actually, let's do this. This is fun.
Okay.
We hear, let's take the laluntonaton as a genitive absolute.
Ah,
Let's
yeah.
hear when they are speaking,
Yes.
we are hearing when they are speaking the great things of God, the accusative object of akumen. We are hearing the great things of God while they are speaking in our own languages.
Ah, I like that.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah. And it just
Okay.
kind of ties up then what he emphasized in verse 5.
So ta megalaya tu theo is the direct object of akuomen.
Akumen. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they are speaking, when their mouths are open.
Right.
Right. And lalao is just the most generic kind of speaking
Yeah.
possible.
Right.
And in our own, but then the megalaya tutheu is the key thing. Great things of God, and to fill that content in, of course, you got to go to Acts or the rest of Peter's sermon, but you could also go to the other 6 sermons in Acts where it's essentially a gospel narrative.
right.
So this is Luke doesn't tell us yet the content, but we'll see it numerous times throughout the book of Acts.
Right. Well, it's almost like he's got to, at least here, he's got to focus on one person. He can't just say what each of the apostles is saying and just be quoting them. I mean, you can imagine if they're all speaking all these different languages, it's probably, I mean, what does that even look like? With this many people and different people groups. I mean, they've got to be. So he's got to focus on one. eventually,
Yeah.
and it's going to be Peter.
Eventually,
right?
yeah, and
Right,
maybe Peter speaks in Greek.
Yeah,
But
sure.
because everybody can understand it. But here, again, the emphasis, everybody's hearing the great things of God, which again I would take to be the basic gospel narrative. Sometimes
Yes.
starting with creation, sometimes
Right.
starting with Abraham,
Right.
but working through the Old Testament until it's fulfilled in Christ with
Right.
always the death and resurrection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Well, and
12.
we're back to existanto
Existemi, here we go again.
Right, existemi. To exist is amazing. That's how you remember that word. So, verse 12, existanto de pontis kai die porun alos pros alon legontes. We'll just stop there for a moment. All were, it's an imperfect, we're continuing to be amazed or something. And dia poron, so dia poreo, they were, and continuing to be perplexed, right? So it's an imperfect with the augment here at the end of dia, right? So I guess you get the epsilon added to poreo, and then the epsilon and the alpha turn into an eta there. And so they were being perplexed, and then we get our participle, legontes, right? Saying, I love this, alos pros alon, another to another, right?
Yeah.
But one to another.
Yeah, English, you could simplify that.
Each to another, something like each to the other. It's funny because you see structures like that all over the place. All right, now, I got this verse. T thelai tauto einai. So,
yeah.
all right, so we'll start with the simple part, right?
Right.
This is a verb. Thelo is a verb that, any verbs of, wishing or thinking or saying, it will introduce some kind of indirect discourse or indirect statement. Okay? So tauta is an accusative, neuter accusative with einai as the infinitive. All right? So the part that's after thelai is, and it's put in the form of a question, right? The part that's after thelai is like, what is this? Or this to be, this is. Basically, it's just this is, okay? This is. Now, the question is introduced with the interrogative pronoun T, and you can see it's got the, sorry, I'm looking for a color highlighter. Didn't want to do that. No, it keeps doing that. Well, doesn't matter. It's accented, right? So it's an interrogative.
Interrogative, yeah.
Sometimes the accent falls back onto the just the pronoun, but here it's an interrogative. So it asks you a question. So the question is not what is the question. We know what the question is. It's what is this? Okay.
Yeah.
The real mystery here, I suppose, is thelai. I mean, it's just such a weird way to phrase this.
Impersonal verb. Yeah.
It's got to be an impersonal verb, but to wish, to want, to intend, right? And so it's got to be like what is intended by this, or. I mean,
that makes it a passive. That makes it a passive.
Yeah, but impersonal sometimes come out as passives.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So the ESV translates it. What does this mean? I mean, you can even see there
right.
the Latin text also.
Yeah.
it's interesting. The Latin text goes along right with the Greek text. There's no gloss. I think last time or the time before we had, some nice Latin gloss. Oh, it was in 1 Peter 3. Nice Latin Vulgate glosses right over the relative clause. And here it's quid, right? So what? Nam, for what? Hoc, this, volt, esse, right? So it's almost word for word.
Word
right?
for word, yeah. Yeah, so this exact phrase occurs in Acts 17 after Paul's preaching on the Areopagus and talks about the resurrection, and some mocked, but then others said, we wish to hear what these things might be.
Yeah.
I guess how you have to translate it, but exactly the same phrase.
Right.
And it has to mean something similar. And then in the prodigal son, actually, in Luke 15, I think it's verse 26, this is very interesting. In Luke, at least in the Nestle-Aland text, it uses the optative, ti tuta eidai, which makes perfect sense. What might these things be?
Right.
Now, Codex Bezae at that place has exactly this phrase, which is very intriguing. And is he that sophisticated to know the parallel on Acts, or is the text of Luke's made cleaner? I don't know, I'll just say I checked some resources. BDAG just cites those passages and doesn't give any non-New Testament parallels, which would have been nice, because then you could say it's some kind of idiom,
right?
That they kind of know what this is. So that's our best guess. I don't really know what else you do with this. And to me, it kind of looks like the thele is working like the optative.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the optative expressing wish, right? Obviously, is the what it's doing, and so thele in the indicative expressing wish. It seems to be very similar to what's going on, but again, I couldn't find other examples of that outside the Acts 17 and the variant in Luke 15. So.
And I guess to be clear, to narrow down on the difficulty here, it's the subject of thelo.
Yes, it's the subject.
That's the issue, right? What is the subject of fellow? Which is why if you go impersonal, you can kind of bypass that.
Yeah.
I
suppose I don't think I would do this. I think it's still impersonal, but you could say, as if it's anticipating Peter's answer, what does God wish these things to be?
Sure.
Because that's where Peter goes with it. But I don't think you could read that into verse 12. That's a bit much.
So you're saying the answer is just the typical Sunday school answer.
Yeah,
it's Jesus,
answer.
Right?
It's Jesus.
That's the subject of the verb.
It doesn't work for grammar, even it works for children's messages, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. We've got a note or a note here. So here's the majority text, which is interesting because I didn't see a note in the Nestle-Aland.
No, I didn't. I checked, and it's not there.
Yeah, so we've got one here.
Yeah.
Although, okay, so the Robinson-Pierpont.
Makes it on thelo, makes it an optative.
On thelo. Yeah. So, here, I'll just highlight that.
So,
right?
so it makes it the optative and cleans it up.
Yeah. And but that's the majority readings.
Here. Let me see what the.
It's interesting to me that the Nestle-Aland doesn't have that as.
Yeah, usually they would cite anything in the
majority of manuscripts.
So let me see if it's actually.
If
that's a Robinson. So Robinson-Pierpont, if you don't know, is a reconstruction of the Byzantine text,
right?
Based on the manuscripts rather than based on the Textus Receptus and the text of Erasmus from the 16th century.
Right.
So it's an attempt to give you might say, a more academic footing to the essentially the Byzantine text.
Well, even in my because it is a majority text, that's what I use when I'm making comparisons to in Codex Bernerianus in Algiensis. It's not a comparison to the whatever critical edition is current. It's always to the 2005 Robinson-Pierpont text.
Well, the Editio Critica Maior does identify it as the Byzantine reading.
Yeah, sure.
So this big fat, every reading ever volume for Acts does give it as the Byzantine reading. So it's interesting. Yeah, you're right that Nestle doesn't note it.
Yeah.
So that's what you'd have in the King James. You're not going to find a difference in translation, I don't think, between the King James and, say, the ESV here.
Right.
But the King James does pick up the right form, to make it
Yeah.
less weird.
Well, again, the
See if they
ESV
do
just
the
says
same thing in Acts 17, actually.
ESV just says, "What does this mean?" So
Yeah.
they just punt on that
What does
one.
this mean? Or they just
Yeah,
punt
that's what they.
completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just check a quick here in Acts 17 if the Byzantine does the same. Um, 24 to 30. Yeah, of course, a bunch of manuscripts do, although it's not entirely consistent.
Oh,
The
interesting.
Byzantine text in Luke 7 or Acts 17 is split. So, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, there's no, distinctive reading there. I mean, for those of you who, why is this an interesting issue? One question, of course, is the Byzantine text prior to the other manuscripts? I'll just use it generically, or is it a secondary text based on earlier manuscripts that simplifies things? And I think this is a pretty clear-cut case where antheloi would never be changed to thele. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It makes it harder, less clear, and I think pretty clearly the Byzantine text here is a secondary rewriting to clarify, and what I would say is the Lucan difficult grammar.
Right.
If you know what I'm saying, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry for you King James only people or Byzantine prioritists, but it's awfully hard in many cases, like this one, to say that in the second, third, fourth centuries they're making the grammar harder.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So
the principle of what readings gives rise to the others. This is a pretty clear example of that.
Yeah.
And that's why the ECM, the Idea Critica Major, continues to use the thele.
Yeah. Yep. So.
Alrighty, long digression there, but
yep. No, I think that's good.
You majority text people can send us hate mail if you want.
Yeah. Right. Yes, and it's right.
Anyway.
I wish we could just go with the easier readings. So.
Well, and it's easier to learn Greek that way, and
it
it's
is.
Fine.
Yeah.
But then you don't understand what's going on here, and
right.
And then you can't understand in other places. Anyway,
all right.
Verse
13.
We got to move. All right.
Yeah.
Heteroi dia. Oh man, sorry about this one. Dia Kloiazantis. Yeah, stumble over that one.
I think you got it.
Kloiazantis. Yeah. Elegon hati glucus memistomenoi eisen. All right, so fun stuff here. Others. So you get some. One to another saying, what's going on. Others, and then let's do the grammar here correctly. Others, elegon, kept on saying. So the durative idea again.
Right.
That, they are memistomenoi. They are in a state of drunkenness.
Right.
Full of, I guess you got to do the genitive, full of new wine, and glucose looks like glucose because that's where the word comes from in English.
Right.
New wine tends to be sweet, right?
Yeah.
You don't have the tannins and things like that. So new wine is, I think, how some translations do that, but it's maybe better new sweet wine if you want to be technical.
Tannins only from an enophile here. An enophile. Tannins. All right.
There's all my wine stuff back here. If you don't know what that is, all my wine books next to my Vulgate. Very handy. But then you got to do something with that participle. Dia kloiazantis. And so the participle, predicate participle modifying elegon. And so it's going to be functioning, I think, adverbially here. The gloss here, and again, only time it occurs in the New Testament, so I had to look it up, sorry. And Bedi gives the gloss here of jeering, right? So jeering or mocking.
Yeah.
So they kept on saying jeeringly, mockingly, that they are in a state of drunkenness full of sweet new wine. or sweet fresh wine. Beaujolais, I guess, would be the parallel here. If you take your, new Beaujolais in the fall, first harvest, pressed, very low alcohol and no tannin, but very sweet. So yeah, they're drunk on Beaujolais. I'm contextual translation.
Going to introduce everyone to. That's the word, isn't it? An enophile, somebody who loves wine. Yeah. Yes. So there you go. Now you've learned a new English word.
Jeff Kloha. Based on the Greek word oinos.
Yes.
And philos, right? Wine lover.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
Good.
In
See,
German,
we're classy.
German,
here.
it's a wine kenner.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Knower of wine. Yep. Yep. Anyway.
All right. And now, it does surprise me a little bit that that's the only time that word appears in the New Testament.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
You'd think there would be more of that, just generally with the way that people are treated.
It's interesting that seems like a pretty stupid explanation, because how can, people from Galilee, these 6 from Galilee, speak, for the Parthians to understand if they're drunk? I mean, that makes no sense. Are they just like somehow remembering snippets of stuff that they heard, and so in drunken state they can repeat it? I mean, I don't know, but Peter, that's the one he responds to. Interestingly, so that seems to be the one that if you're kind of trying to reconstruct the scene, seems to be the one that's the most winning the day among the crowd, if you will. And so Peter responds to that. Yeah, it's pretty strange.
Well, I don't know. Did you ever see that Jackie Chan movie, Drunken Master, where he can only fight after he's had a lot to drink in the bar, and then he can fight Jackie Chan, and then when he's all right. Well,
I don't know if you want to base your exegesis of acts on a Jackie Chan movie, but go ahead.
I don't know. So. But all right, let's keep going. This is so I don't. I'm a little bitter about the verse division here. 14. Stath. I'm just going to do the first part and then the next part. Right. Stath ice day ha petra soon tois endeka eperin tain phonein autu kai. Ape thinksato autois. You think you got a hard one?
Yeah.
Ape thinksato, right? Because the gamma's got to turn into an in, right? Okay. All right. And so again, we get this histemi. I've noticed in Acts you get a lot of you do get histemi and erchomai. With all the different bells and whistles on them, right? All the different prepositional prefixes, preformatives. So, okay. So, aorist passive participle. So, I'd say after he stood up.
Yeah.
Or having
modifying the verb, obviously.
Right. So, so we can jump to the verb, which is the fun one to pronounce here, right? And this is a really a kind of a neat verb also, because you get the gamma turned into a xi, right, to go aorist, and apo turns into ap-a, right, to go aorist with the augment. So to speak out, to declare, right? So after having stood up, Peter declared to them, and then we can put in our prepositional phrase, and all the modifiers, I guess as we want. Well, I suppose I take that back. We should have had eperin. Sorry, my eyes skipped over that one.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so epiro. All right. So having stood up with the 11. Mm-hmm. He lifted his voice, right, and declared to them. There we go. That's how we do that.
Yep.
All right, so we'll read the next part now. Andres Judaio, kai hoi katoikuntes Jerusalem Pontus. So, so men, Jews and inhabitants of Jerusalem, everyone.
Yeah. And
Okay.
and again, that kata kuntus, probably people checked in at the hotel.
Yeah. So people living, because I would take Jerusalem then as somehow a direct object here. Mm-hmm. So inhabiting Jerusalem at the moment, everyone. Okay.
And Jerusalem, you probably know, does not decline. So whatever case it's in,
Yeah,
it's going to look like that.
That's fair. That's fair.
You're going to take it as a plural.
Right.
Yeah.
So tauta humen gnoston esto kai enotisa. Let me try that again. Enotisaste ta remata mu. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so we've got our, I guess. Well. So our verb, again, another to be verb. It's almost too convenient.
Luke is being too easy on us? Is that
Yeah, I guess so. Why so many to be verbs? And then you get another, your other verb here. So esto is going to have like this jussive, right? This third person command, and we always do this as like let, I guess.
Let be, yeah.
Yeah, let it, yeah, and so let it to you.
Let it
be known.
Like a Beatles song. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, let it be. Let it be known to you. Yeah. And another. And then a command to them. So it's a jussive, it's a third person command, and it's a command to them. Listen to my speech, right? Or listen to words. But I think listen to my speech or listen to my sermon.
Fremita is just spoken utterances,
right.
Generically. Yeah.
Together it's plural, but it's like a cumulative, right?
Right.
So, listen to my utterances, my speech.
Yeah.
Right. Anything else?
Yeah, and, a couple interesting notes again. If you're trying to reconstruct the scene, right? If you're doing a Sunday school program for Pentecost or something, or a movie, we asked earlier how many people got the tongues, and it seemed to be more than the 12.
Yeah.
Here, the 11 or the 12 are singled out as the ones standing up to speak. So I think it is fair to say that those tongues came on a lot of people.
Right.
All, the disciples, the followers. But here the 11 are picked out, or the 12, Peter with the 11, singled out from that group.
Yeah.
As the ones to actually speak.
Yeah. And you almost wonder how many, were they doing this, one person was speaking to a group, or were there groups of people speaking to larger groups?
Yeah.
Right? Because why are they standing together?
Everything is shorthanded, right? So,
right.
Again, because you have these imperfects and present tenses, these durative tenses, I would say that the scene is happening for half an hour, right?
Sure.
And people are finding, I can hear over there, and there's
right.
the Parthian,
right.
So people are kind of filtering out, and you got all this chaos, and people are trying to explain this, right? And then Peter gets up with the 11, probably to get some attention, right? So
right.
A group of people standing up. So were they sitting before? I don't know. Were they sitting? Who knows? But Peter somehow makes himself prominent. Does he get up on a pedestal or something here,
right?
Or platform, right?
Yeah.
And then, and even the Andres Judaio, that's an interesting phrase. And, I don't even know if you really translate that separately. So, grammatically it's in a positive.
Yeah.
Men, Jews. Luke does the same thing with Andres Adophoi, men, brothers, which is like, okay, yes, men and brothers are really masculine, right? But do you just say men of Israel or something.
Yeah. Or
I don't know.
or does it take him a couple times? Andres,
Men,
everyone,
Jews.
men,
Yeah, so it's
Jews,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let it be known to you. You need so you need the gist of the imperative, right? Okay.
Right.
Yeah, straightforward. Okay. Verse 15. Ugar hos hemais hupalambanita hutoi methuosin. For you, hupalambanita, you do not suppose, and it's interesting because it's kind of got a Yissa force here again. But you do not suppose that these are drunk, methuosin, the verb there, methuo.
Right.
For it is the third hour in the day. So dative of time when there, trite te semeras, or tes.
Yeah, we got to jump to
trite, and then the genitive, the third hour of the day.
right.
Which sounds like kind of a weak excuse because, I don't know, it's entirely possible to be drinking sweet
Right.
new wine for breakfast.
Right.
But anyway, that's Peter's response.
Yeah, if you're doing that, maybe that's the kind of thing that you would do is go out and start talking to everybody, right?
Yeah,
if you're already
if you did have wine.
Right.
Yeah.
So, those are
5
consistent
o'clock
life
somewhere,
choices, right? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And again, you get the to be verb.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Straight on.
All right. 16. Hey, I get an easy one. No, wait a second. Oh, I did too. That's why I've got the even verses
Yeah.
now, don't I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was a good trade. Good luck with the next
Okay.
one. All right. 16.
I planned this all out. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, good. In my favor, I suppose. I don't know. Allah tutu estin tai iremenon dia tu prophetu yoel. Okay. Again, estin to be verb. But this is the thing spoken, right? So this perfect passive participle of Lego. This is like this is a thing that remains that has been spoken and remains or something through the prophet Joel. Okay.
Yeah. And doesn't get noted in the SBL text, but Codex Batesai, which we'll look at some pictures in a minute here.
Yeah.
Codex Batesai emits the Joel, which actually might, why would you delete it if it's there?
Yeah.
But again, Codex Batesai, as you likely know, listeners here, or if you don't, has a rather unique form of Acts, a little bit more expansionistic descriptive, as also basically the old Latin tradition. So you seem to have a couple of strains of Acts floating around early.
Yeah.
And Codex Batesai is kind of the only Greek example of that left, but that's a whole other issue.
Well, yeah, isn't it like 20% more in Acts?
I don't know if it's that much more, but it is significantly longer.
Significantly longer, yeah.
Yeah. Basically more detail, more description. That's what you get.
Right.
But then sometimes it's shorter, like here. So what do you do when it's shorter, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's notable also that this is something that the new critical editions are kind of cleaning up. Is that they've abandoned the letters for the majuscule manuscripts, and so this would normally be D in the Gospels and Acts versus D in the Pauline epistles, which would be Codex Clermontanus, right? So now we're moving to what? 05 and 06.
05 is the Gospel Acts and 010.
Right. So right now you see D in the Gospels and Acts and D in the Pauline epistles, and those are two different manuscripts. But now they'll be 05
both Greek
and
Latin
06.
bilinguals, which is confusing.
Both Greek, right.
But completely different origins.
Right, yeah. Very different nature, to them. Yeah. So.
Yeah. All right. 17, so I get the long verse, right?
That's right.
Kaios dai entais eskatais hemeras lege ha theos, and let's just stop there.
Yeah.
So the quote from Joel, and now SBL doesn't do this, but if you look in your Nestle Allen text, if you're tracking along there, you're going to see it put out in callimetry and poetic form, and a lot of italics to tell you the stuff that comes from Joel.
Yeah.
And you've got a pretty much verbatim citation of, at least in the Septuagint, it's numbered Joel 3, 1-5, but long chunk, very unusual actually to have that much of a text cited at length. But that's what Peter does. He just quotes a bunch of Joel.
Well, and also is having it this is the only section in the Septuagint that is chapter 3. So in the Septuagint, chapter 3 is just these 5 verses.
Just these words, yes. So
right, just 5 verses.
That numbering probably came about because of this Acts citation.
Right,
or
right.
The chapter divisions.
The chapter division, right.
Later.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. All right, anyway, here's another form of ami, right? Estai. It will be, so future, it will be in the last days, which I think we need to keep. Last days meaning the last days of God acting, the great things of God referenced earlier. Says God, which is unusual. Usually you'd say lege hel kurios, says the Lord, but here it's says God. And your Nestle text is not in italics, so I'm presuming the Septuagint has kurios there. So it's interesting. Does it?
No. Wait a second. Let's see. It will be. No, that is a little bit of a paraphrase.
It is, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because in the Septuagint it's kai estai meta tauta kai
after these
things, okay. Right, after these, yeah. So, it is a little bit of a paraphrase there. So maybe he just kind of rolls into it.
Yeah, okay. So then he goes on. What does God say, right? So prophetic, future prediction kind of stuff here from Joel 3. Enkeo apata pneumatos mu, and I love how the accent shifts back from the mu. So you got pneumatos mu. You got to kind of say it, keep the mu connected there.
Yeah.
Epipasan sarka. Okay. So enkeo, another word you probably had to look up. And now here's a nice little parsing exercise. It has the circumflex over the omega, which means that something dropped out, because the present indicative would be enkeo with the accent over the epsilon, the second epsilon. But the omicron indicates that something dropped out, and that would be the sigma to make it a future, so we know that this is a future form. So I will pour out, and then this apotu pneumatos mu, from my spirit, but I think it's just I will pour out. It's almost like a double preposition.
Yeah.
From ekanapo, but I will pour out my spirit, and then the object, where is it poured out? Epipasan sarka, on all flesh, which is interesting. All flesh will receive my spirit. Kai prophetususin hoi huioi human, kai hutheteris human. So let's just start there. And they will prophesy. So it fronts the speaking. They will prophesy. And prophesy here meaning speak the great things of God.
Right.
So I have to take prophecy here, which Luke gave us earlier. And who will be doing the prophesying? Your sons and your daughters.
Yes.
Right. And so we're going to have a string of everybody. So what is the definition of pasan sarka? It's going to be lots of people, right? And so your sons and your daughters, kai hoi nianiskoi human, harases upsantai, and your nianiskoi young men, horisais future. Upsantai future. From harao, one you just kind of have to memorize again.
Yeah.
They will see, and you get harao, horisis. So they will see seen things, or the word is used as visions typically in the Septuagint New Testament.
Well, that's also a Hebraism, right? To
Yeah.
repeat the lexeme. Yeah.
Yeah. They will
So
see.
they will certainly see visions or something, or I don't know.
Oh, well, actually, that's
Yeah, they
another
will
way you could
certainly
do it.
see things.
They will
Yeah.
certainly see, or they will see seeingly or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
your English will generally do. They will see visions, and it is an accusative. So yeah, but I think you're right. It might be a cognate accusative.
Well, come to think of it, oh look, I just flipped right to Joel here. I just wanted to look and see what the Hebrew text was for that, because I hadn't looked at that because I was so focused on the Septuagint.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll keep going, and I'll find it.
Okay. Well, and again, the question is this a cognate accusative? So they will see thoroughly, might be how you would take that, or they will see visions, because they didn't actually see visions; they just saw tongues and heard speaking. So it's interesting. I hadn't quite thought of that before, but anyway, young men will see visions or see thoroughly. Old men, so he's kind of doing this all-encompassing groups of people here.
Right.
The elders, your old men, they will, and again, you got another cognate accusative, right? They will dream dreams. Or they will dream dreamingly.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's hypnosis.
But he does double up the vocabulary. That's very interesting.
Yeah, that's so. This is where we get the word hypnotize, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep. Hypnosis or something. Hypnotize.
Yeah. And hypniazomai. Yeah. So you had to look that one up. Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on that one?
No. Again, Joel is just like everybody gets it.
Everybody.
So, again, all this is just modifying Pas and Sarka in verse 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's just, this group, that group, those kind of people, those kinds of people. And then you get dreams, visions, prophecies, all kinds of stuff. And, he's just kind of filling up the bucket, right, is what he's doing here.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like the whole gamut of humanity.
Right.
Young, old, men, women, everybody.
Yeah. Slaves, everybody.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. Which is, all right, so this is where we're going next. All right.
Yep.
Verse 18. Kai ge epi tus doulos, mu kai epi tas doulos, mu entice heme rais ekenais inkeo apo tu noimatos mu kai prophet toisusen, sorry. And to this kai gay, I think, it wasn't kai gay before that we had.
No, we had tech kai before.
That's right. Okay. So I think this probably should be like and even, or in.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Simply because you're already talking about men or young men, young women, those who are older, and then and even upon my servants, and normally that would be just fine to say my servants, but since we've got epi tas doulos,
right,
mu, it's got to be my male servants and my female servants.
Yeah, interesting that he singles both out. Yeah,
he does.
Yeah,
he doesn't. He could have just said tus doulos, and that would have covered everybody. But he clearly wants but that also could just mean men, right? And so he wants to be very, very clear. Same with the sons. He could have just said sons, and it would have meant sons and daughters, or sons. But he wants to be very, very clear that he's speaking sons and daughters. Male servants and female servants. It's interesting he doesn't do the same thing with presbyteroi.
Right.
Because you do see...
Yeah, so old men, young men.
Right.
And here you might expect slaves and rich people or something.
Yeah, that's
male
right.
Slaves, female slaves.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, we do see the feminine of presbyteroi in the New Testament
Yeah.
in
right.
both First Timothy and Titus, right?
Right.
So it's, but he doesn't do that. So,
Doing it here. Yeah. yeah.
all right.
And
It-
real quick on that kai
Please.
ge, it's a Septuagint translation of, or Hellenistic translation of vagem, or vagam in Hebrew.
Yeah.
So, and also, and it might just be a
and also,
and at this
Right.
point. Yeah.
yeah, rather than an even,
And,
right?
and indeed, yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's interesting. Who's the mu? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's God, I
Yeah.
suppose, right?
It's God. Yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
point.
so it's his
That's
slave,
not,
so it's not necessarily right.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
yeah, that should be emphasized. Yeah, so it's not
Yeah.
just random slaves of the Israelites,
Right. Right.
something, but God slaves. Yeah.
Right. And okay. And in those days, and then get the same word in pronounced in ko,
Yeah.
but it really does have this, the ek, ek ko. So
Right.
so again, and I will pour out from my spirit. Now I do have a thought about this. My spirit or from my spirit. I think it's probably because it's kind of this cumulative idea of what the spirit is, right? So it's like a portion of my spirit, right? It's like
I
it's
see.
like you
Yeah.
get a
Oh,
bucket
yeah.
of water and you're
Yeah.
pouring out from the water,
Yeah,
right?
from my spirit, yeah.
Yeah. So
So, yeah, kind of like this double portion of your spirit that you get from
yeah,
Elijah. Yeah,
because it's not like God gets rid of his spirit; He pours
Right.
out from his spirit,
yeah.
and there's more spirit, right? So, yeah, okay, and they will prophesy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. 19.
Coming to the
Some
end.
futures here. So, we're keep trucking with the futures. Kai doso terata entu urano ano, kai samaya epites ges kato. So I will give from didomi, the future tense there. I will give signs in the heavens above, and here I'd stick with the sky above because the contrast is earth. So I will give wonders in the sky above,
Yeah,
and samaya, signs on the earth below.
yeah,
So ano kato, nice contrast there. Urano, ges, contrasted. Yeah, and even the prepositions in the sky, on the earth.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so pretty clean here.
yep.
And then what are these wonders and signs? Well, it's Haima, Kai Pur, Kai Atmida Kapnu. So some more weird vocabulary. First part's easy. What are the signs? Blood and fire. And then you got to do something like, it's something like smoke of smoke. I mean, it's
Yeah.
smoky smoke. I mean, so
Well-
atmos is vapor, but vapor not liquefied, right? It's
Right.
and then kapnu is smoke. Yes.
Wait,
BDAG
yeah.
here gives steaming smoke, which I don't know what that means, but because how does smoke steam? I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like we don't really have a word for it because
Yeah.
to us, we would just call it smoke.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we would just say smoke.
Smoldering smoke, maybe, or something. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like they're distinguishing between the smoke and the color, the appearance, or something, or
Oh,
the
yeah.
up,
Yeah.
which is funny because you have to think, right, in a society with regular burnt sacrifices, they're going to have a little bit different way of talking about smoke.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's how language
Right.
works,
Yeah,
right? A
fair
little more
enough, yeah.
precise in talking about
Yeah,
smoke because
okay.
they do sacrifices a lot,
I do
right? We don't.
sacrifices. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
I think the same phrase is used, is it not, in Revelation for the lake of sulfur? Maybe I'm misremembering that.
Does it?
That would be the same kind of an idea, right? How does a
Yeah.
lake of sulfur, what does that look like, right? But
Right.
yeah. Now, here's where we might want to pop up an image of our friend Codex Batesai.
Yeah. Okay. Let me
And
pull
Codex
it up.
Batesai is written in callimetry, so it's written in sense lines, and it tends to drop these occasionally accidentally. And as Alec mentioned, Codex Bezae is often longer, so when it's shorter, there's probably something wrong happening. And here it drops the entire line. So you've got the Latin text up there.
Okay.
And you can
So
see
where do you want me to go?
So if you see the et dabo, I will give, right? So kind of in the middle of the page there.
Yep. At Dabo.
I will give prodigia. That's a great word. I will give great things, right? In kailosum, in the sky, and signa, signs, inter. Oh, and he wrote over that. Is that right? Ade orsum.
Yeah. Odd a or. No. Yeah.
In terra, signs on the earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, to them. Yeah, sorry.
To them. Yeah. Yeah.
To them, yeah. And then notice then it goes right to the sun in verse 20.
Oh yeah. Soul. Here.
So it lost the hamakai por atmida kapnu in Greek. It just lost that entire line in Latin. And if you flip to the other image, Alec, that'll give you the Greek side where you see the same thing happening.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they put the Greek and the Latin on separate images. So if you scroll up,
Well, let's see. Well, I've got to scroll down.
you got to scroll down. Okay.
Yeah. So let me. Yeah, because of the way that we've got
Yeah.
the images there.
Yeah. So there you get the Greek.
Right.
And let's see where we are. Keep going down.
Man, this is a.
Andres Sodaflow. Yeah, we got a long way to go. Keep going down.
Yeah.
Notice no verses, so you got to find your way, which makes it kind of hard.
Okay.
And let's see.
Or is this the wrong image? Maybe we need the other Greek image.
No, there it is.
Where do you see it?
Oh yeah, you're right. It's the wrong image. Keep going.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm sorry, image.
No, that was good because it was the beginning. All right, so let's hear. Let's find it here.
Andres. So there's verse 22. Andres, you see the paragraph mark. So go up. Kai Samaya. There it is.
There's it. Oh yeah, all the Kais. Kai.
Yeah, Kai Samaya. Right. And then you notice it goes right from Kai Samaya.
Right.
Epeteskes kato, and then you go right to ho helios in the next line.
Right, we missed.
So you lost
again.
that entire line. Hamekai por kai atmana kapnu.
Right.
And again, you got kai at the beginning of the lines, so it's called haplography, where there's an accidental skip from one similar word to another similar word. Yeah. So just again to show why some manuscripts make certain kinds of mistakes, and here's because of the format laid out in sense lines, and the I skipped from Akai to Akai.
Yeah.
So easier to make that mistake in this kind of manuscript, basically.
Right. Yeah, and I think this is also the sense lines would eventually give rise to like the concept of a sentence, right?
Yes. Right.
So it's a
they don't have
sense.
punctuation.
Yeah, it's an idea. It's not necessarily doesn't have like subject, verb, object, or something, but it could be a prepositional phrase. It could be a part of a list, but it's multiple words together in one sentence. Usually multiple words in one sentence, and that's how it's separated, and that's how somebody can understand it and read it aloud. Also,
And so you see, you can look. There's no punctuation in the manuscript. You don't need it, but they don't use it at this point. They might use a medial dot to break up sense or something like that occasionally, but. Modern, the punctuation is a modern convention for non-native Greek speakers, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
And this was a nicer manuscript before all of this stuff happened to it.
Yeah, all the damage.
I mean, it's a lot of.
Isn't the story that it was rescued from fire by wasn't Theodore Beza rescued it from fire? Or no, it was later on. One of the scholars at Oxford saved it from a fire, had some water damage on it. Isn't it the story?
Was that Beza? I mean, that's Sinaiticus. I know that.
No, I think there's a story later on. Maybe I'm making it up, but
yeah, I don't know. Well,
doesn't matter. And at some point, it got damaged.
Yeah, well, clearly. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of these manuscripts is amazing. Well, you brought up Codex Bornerianus, right? That was in the basement of the Dresden Library during the bombing of Dresden, right?
Dresden, 1945. Yeah.
Right, and it survived, but it faced incredible water damage. And in 1909, they made the facsimile of it. Right. And in some places, it's the only way you can tell what's going on is through the facsimile. So, So yeah, these have been through a journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, since we have the manuscript up, do you want to talk about the other part? I think we skipped. There's the other page with the Pentecostion.
Oh, yeah, the Pentecost instruction.
Yeah,
It's fun. Yeah.
Let's
So
scroll
speak
down,
up
and this
over
is we just have
Yeah.
these images up. They're not. This is not how they appear, in the together like this in the actual holding
here.
institution
Just
images.
download. You
but
can download them for free. They'll give you the copyright info.
We'll put the link.
Link it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But I
So-
love this because you got this beautiful, probably 5th century hand, maybe 6th, probably 5th century, just gorgeous script. And then somebody wanted to make sure you didn't miss that this is Pentecost. And so Pentecosti. Actually, is that spelled wrong? It's actually spelled wrong, isn't it? Yeah, Christi Pentecosti. Is that what it's doing there? Is that the is that a Cairo? I guess I don't even know. But
Well, yeah. It's a chirogram, and then
yeah.
Frankly, I don't know what everything that's going on here because of the. Did they? Why? Well, I don't know. I see, and every manuscript has its own, marginalia and all kinds of stuff going on here. As you can see right here, but they're not always written by the original hand, which you can see
Great
clearly
example.
here.
So you see
right?
that what looks like a Cairo. Oh, actually, that's a Christon sign. So that's that marks the lectionary reading.
Right, exactly. Which is what this is the capital chapter 2.
Yeah.
This is our. We should have put this at the beginning. I
so
guess.
the dagger that you see there before the 2 is marking the dagger up above. That's marking the Pentecost pericope.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's
what it's doing.
Yeah,
and then
you can.
And then a caput 2 in Latin.
Right.
Nicely. That's much later. So that's a medieval addition to the manuscrict.
Yeah.
So,
but
you've
even
got multiple users over the centuries here.
Right, and so somebody they were using this, and then when the lectionary was finally, when there were lectionaries that were finally, what's the right word? Generalized or standardized. That's the word I'm looking for. When there's eventual standardization, somebody comes back and says, "Here's your Pentecost." Although, frankly, this is probably read on Pentecost. For a long time before that. But this is a later hand doing this here. Yeah, right. Why wouldn't you read this on Pentecost? But it's like, very good, very very nice. So, okay,
alrighty.
Well,
so verse 20.
Yep. Let me pull that up, and we're getting to the end. Finally, this is a long one here. I think it's our longest one yet. So, but it's a long reading. Ha helios metastraphesetai eis skatos kai he selene eis haima prin elthane hemeron kuriu tain megalane kai epiphane. I really like this. So this is what we were just looking at, right? Ha helios.
It's the Bible, Alec. You're supposed to like it.
You're supposed to like it. Yeah, that's right. All right, fine, whatever. All right, so the Son will be. All right, so metastraphesetai. It's strapho, right? And it's metastrapho. Okay, and it's a future passive, and so normally you would normally derive you derive the future passive from the sixth principal part, and normally the sixth principal part often has that theta eta in it, but the phi kind of swallows the theta, right? And if this were any kind of labial, right? So a p, a beta, whatever, it would have turned into a phi. Here, it just happens that the base letter is already a phi.
A phi,
right?
yeah.
So it kind of looks like the theta just disappears, but it doesn't. It gets swallowed up, right, in this letter here. So
theta, right.
Right. So.
So call it a theta. There you go. It's a phi theta.
A phi theta. Well, that's kind of what it is, right? I mean, so yeah. All right. So it will be. The Son will be like transformed, turned, right? And then eis skatos, into darkness, and the moon, and the verb is going to be carried over. All right, we do that in English too, I suppose. And the moon into blood. Okay, then a preposition before, so it's like before, and then we've got this. This is kind of a strange construction now that I think about it. It's like Elthane is, it's an it's erkomai, to come, but it's like before the coming, the day to come, the day that which is to come of the Lord, right? And then in the accusative, tain, magalein, the mega, the great, and epiphane, right? It's like the manifest, right? The great and manifest day of the Lord, or something.
I think glorious is often.
Glorious is another one. I was just trying to stick with the epiphany idea, but the
I know,
great
but
and
I
glorious.
think it is, and from phanerao, right, the verb. But I think this eventually just comes to mean, by the time we get to the New Testament, glorious. So, Antiochus Epiphanes, right, the guy who desecrated the temple in the Maccabean period, and was at 165 BC. Everybody thought he was a megalomaniac, and so they joked, instead of Antiochus Epiphanes, the glorious, he was Antiochus Epimanes, Antiochus the maniac, basically.
Oh, yeah, nice. Wow, I didn't know that.
So
okay.
they kind of played on the word, So he kind of lifted himself up as the glorious one, but he was actually like insane.
Right.
Again,
right.
no modern political comment intended there, but tends to happen to people who exalt themselves. They tend to be brought low, right?
Yeah. Well, somebody said something about that at one point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's interesting though. There is variation here, to me that is a little. It's not all that smooth. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. You see it. It is in the majority text, because you see this in Nestle Aland. It's in the majority text. It's in Vaticanus.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So,
what do they probably? How do they fix this? So they had the article.
Yeah, and so some manuscripts then have the. That's right. Some manuscripts, have also the article then added here after Elthane, right? Then you can make it. So.
Yeah, and it's great and glorious. Usually, it's great and terrible.
Well, yeah,
that's the Revelation phrase. Yeah, but
well, I think that's a part of it, right? It's
yeah.
But again, I wonder how let me grab the Septuagint. What does the Septuagint do with that? Okay, so you know what? The Septuagint is just eis aima, right? To blood. Prin, Elthane, doesn't have anything. No particles, no nothing there. And Hemeron, Curio, so of the Lord. Tain, Megalane, Kai, Epiphane. That's it.
Just keeps it exactly as is.
Doesn't. Well, except maybe, I don't know. I wonder if there's something going on here, where that might have been added by accident or something. But I don't know. So again, the Nestle doesn't even include that.
Right.
So there's a difference there between the Nestle and we've got SBL. So, all right.
Well, and then the last verse in the text for the sermon. So the sermon proper starts in verse 22. Peter's just reading the text at this point.
Right.
Right. But verse 21, kai estai, or estai, pas hos, eon, epikalesetai, epikalesetai,
There you go.
epikalesetai, thank you, ta anima kuriou sothesetai. All right. And it will be, and you probably need to add a that, it
Sure.
will be, colon, pas, hos, everyone, relative pronoun who, epikaleo here, calls upon, actually it's an aorist, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's right.
Everyone who I guess is probably just reflecting the Hebrew, I guess, but everyone who calls upon, whoever calls upon to Anamakuru, the name of the Lord, and then the future passive indicative from sozo, will be saved.
Yeah.
So very common phrase in the New Testament.
I actually I wonder if that's not referring back to that this pouring out of the Spirit is actually a kind of a durative act, and then by the end of it, anyone who's called upon the name of the Lord will be saved.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of how I took that aorist.
So the response is called upon in the name of the Lord, which I suppose is paralleled in Peter's sermon, where at the end he says, repent, every one of you, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ.
Right.
Be baptized for the forgiveness of sins, right?
Right.
So, yeah, call upon the name of the Lord is the repentance.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And I know that this is kind of, this is the beginning of the sermon now, but just considering how long it's taken us to get through this, obviously we're not going to read the entire thing in the service, but it is. Yeah. I do like it is a nice thematic ending for a text.
Yeah.
It is so. So on the one hand, you've got the rest of the narrative going, but it is kind of nice to say, and anyone who calls or has called upon the name of the Lord will be saved. Yeah. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. It does kind of fit nicely in a, let's say, as a pericope. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So.
Good.
Okay.
All right. I think that does it. So I made an offer, I guess, in one of the videos that if you watch all the way through, you get a cookie. Yeah. And somebody took me up on it, at least by email.
Yeah.
Of course, they live in California, so I told her I'll give you 2 cookies if you come all the way to the East Coast. But if you made it all the way through this one, drop a note in the comments, and I'll give you a shout out. How's that?
I guess so. That's right.
We'll give you a star for the day, and you can collect them. And
that's right.
We'll make an app, and you can get special bonus features out of whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah, something like that. It's all coming.
It's a great text, and hopefully some stuff to think through, especially if you're going to preach on it or teach on it. Quite a bit here, and obviously a key turning point, as Alec pointed out earlier, in salvation history.
Yeah.
This is a pretty big deal.
Yep.
That's why it's a major festival in the history of the church.
That's right. Yep. And should be celebrated. We bring geraniums into the sanctuary and do a processional of light. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah. We sing a hymn and light the candles and turn the lights on as once at the end of the hymn once everyone's in. Oh yeah. Big deal.
Nice.
Make a big
so
deal.
Red geraniums, I suppose. Not,
yes, red geraniums. Yep.
Not chocolate scented geraniums or something distracting, right?
No. Chocolates. No, there it is again. There's the. No, we don't focus on the nose of the geraniums.
Maybe you should. Maybe
we should.
Yeah. You got smoke, right? You could
right.
Light up some cigars. I don't know, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, we'll leave it at that.
We will.
All
right.
Next week, what are we doing next week? I should know. Doesn't matter. We can cut it off there.
Yep. Well, hold on. I've got next week. I happen to have the listing right here. All right. So next week we've got Easter, Pentecost. No, that's right. Proper's 7th Sunday of Easter, day of Pentecost. Oh, well, it'd be Trinity Sunday, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So 2 Corinthians 13, 11 through 13.
Oh, wow. Very short. You guys get a break.
Well, that's what happens, right? And the next one we go back, we're in Romans, and then we get 12, 13 verses again. So,
yeah.
Yeah, well, There you go.
2 Corinthians 11. Okay, well, that'd be fun.
No. Second Corinthians 13,
Oh, 2 Corinthians.
11 to 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, we'll see you then.
Yep. See ya.
Thanks for watching.